Hi, here I wanted to discuss the chess grandmaster Hans Niemann, who pulled off some recent spectacular wins against world champion Magnus Carlson and other super grandmasters, despite being 100 to 200 ELO points below in rating. As a result, he was accused by Magnus Carlson of cheating, also no evidence was provided, and while this is easier in online chess, in an over-the-board game this is nearly impossible, or at least no one knows how it could be done. A very small device inserted into the body might be the only way to avoid detection by metal detectors. To avoid signals from the outside world, players would have to play in a Faraday cage, but then nothing would go in and out and no live games would be possible. But even in that case, you could bring a chess computer with you into the Faraday cage if it would be concealed within your body. I don't know if that's possible. Okay, in the first instance, Hans won against Magnus in an over-the-board game at the Sinkfield Cup in St. Louis, despite Magnus being unbeaten for 50-odd classical games. And he was playing white as well, which is a small advantage. So after that, Magnus withdrew surprisingly and hinted towards the cheating incident. Interestingly, when Magnus was playing Hans again in the online tournament, the Julius Baer Generation Cup, he only played one move as black, the knight move to f6, and then he resigned. Note, Hans cheated before in online chess a few years ago, and so he comes with some baggage. So here I will analyze Hans's body language to get a glimpse into whether he might have cheated. Okay, let's go. Here we see Hans Niemann in a post-game analysis being tested on his chess skills because of the suspicion going around. And there are multiple red flags.
You got to this position and
we see fake smiles, fake laughs. So here he is trying to deter the situation, but also building rapport, and some of this is quite normal.
You seem like we were forced to calculate. I guess some of the
well, no,
crazy
it's just so simple.
here.
Like, come on, it's just easy.
He's playing down the problem he's facing here in this analysis. He's saying easy. That's kind of gaslighting because he doesn't see the problem as a problem, so he doesn't also need to be challenged. On the other hand, it could be bragging, which could be a sign of delusion of grandeur and narcissism.
Right? What do you mean calculate? Like if you go back, all my moves are basically forced. Like if you can suggest another candidate move.
No, after rook f5, what were your thought
I
process?
thought maybe rook d6.
Yeah.
I thought the nice. Let's say there's rook d5.
Well, there's check, right?
There's check. I thought king f6.
So here we see two ways how he's trying to get out of having to calculate variations. So one is a shotgun method, which is also used in cold reading, where you just propose quickly ideas or put phrases into the room. Hopefully the person you're dealing with is picking up on them and leading you forward. Another thing is the mumbling. This is sort of similar. So he's trying to show his thought process and again hoping that the commentator, another grandmaster, is picking up on some of them and picking the right ones. He's a bit like a schoolboy being tested by the teacher and exposed for not being prepared. So he's trying to get out of a tough spot.
Let's see. I wasn't sure where the queen was going.
Well,
maybe I'm. You can take. Oh, maybe am I getting mated? Wow, that's.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Wait, but rook.
So they are making fun of him. He really wants to see how Hans is responding to some move ideas and giving away very little, but smiling on the inside.
Rook on d1 is hanging, no? With check.
Yes.
And then I can. I'm sorry. Is this like a joke? Am I like a prank? Like, could I take the rook? Like, I'm sorry.
It's just a draw. It's just a draw.
Yeah. Okay. You're spending too much time with the computers. I'm sorry. Like, I don't. I think this variation speaks for itself.
So that's a running joke. And again, he's joking around to deflect the situation, to build rapport. So he really reminds me of this little dishonest schoolboy being caught. So we see similar features of dishonesty here.
This is no, but of course I saw that rook d6, but I usually assume like if rook d6 is happening and I'm taking a rook, and the king, rook and g5 is hanging, I can't imagine a situation where I'm losing. So
That's
I think
true.
that wasn't. I think that was a logical way for me to. I don't know if it was necessary to calculate this far.
No.
Here, in the end, he's trying to provide a narrative for his hesitancy and ignorance and trying to spin the narrative around. So here in this compilation, you see Hans Niemann crossing many red lines.
Well, first of all, people are absolute idiots because the explanation I'm going to give is going to make you all the top GMs look like total idiots.
Disgrace in the chess community, you should be banned, you should never be allowed to even go to a chess tournament.
He's just so demoralized because he's losing to such an idiot like me, It's just, it must be embarrassing for the world champion to lose to me.
So he's personally insulting his opponents. Everyone is part of a community, also as a chess player, obviously, but he's burning all his bridges.
You don't even need to show variations, you just look at the position, yeah? Like, okay, let's say...
Wait, did he just literally say I don't need to show variations?
Okay, here's a final compilation of clips showing Hans Niemann playing online chess.
What? Oh! How is he so smart?
So we see pure rage. And what I'm more troubled about is his background. These are empty shelves. That seems to indicate his state of mind. So he's only focused on chess. He doesn't care about anything around him. That seems to indicate some sort of chess addiction. That he's reckless with respect to all other aspects of life.
You start out with a masterpiece. How would you summarize it?
Chess speaks for itself.
That's a very unusual answer. So here he looks very suspicious, having his hands in the pockets. That's a general sign of hiding something and not wanting to explain himself after a spectacular win. Very suspicious.
Is it something special doing this against Magnus, Hans?
How am I this fucking good? Get fucking down and bow down!
Very unusual bowing down. I never heard this before. It violates any chess principles there is on this planet. The ego clouds your mind.
I feel kind of bad that the one thing I'm focused on right now is...
No! 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 How? No! You can hear me! Chat, we're playing fucking Magnus! We're playing Magnus Carlson! Holy shit!
Pure rage, even more unhinged, totally manic. Using physiognomy is a practice of assessing a person's character personality from his outer appearance, so from his appearance and how he acts. It is very difficult for this person to have a clear state of mind to play proper chess. In summary, we saw unusual behavior in a chess player. We saw impulsive, erratic, rude behavior with indicators of even rage and chess addiction. Unlike how chess players are portrayed in movies, such as villains in James Bond movies, or the paranoid chess legend Bobby Fischer, most professional chess players are calm, controlled, quiet, patient, and quite humble, and they generally explain the games they play very well. Although this ability has declined in the newer generations of chess players due to playing against the computers instead of spending hours in a chess club and discussing games. When I saw Hans raging in some videos in Magnus' Night Move, I was immediately reminded of the 1990s movie Night Moves with Christopher Lambert and Diane Lane, in which Christopher's character is a grandmaster playing a lunatic, a serial killer, a failed chess protege. And Magnus might have alluded to this movie with his Night Move. In that movie, it is referred to Anton Berger's chess book, Principles and Tactics, in which it mentions the 3 rules of chess in chapter 1. Carefully, carefully, carefully. So an impulsive and erratic player cannot follow this rule and would have a hard time playing chess. There's also the book on chess psychology, The 7 Deadly Chess Sins by Jonathan Rosen, where sins 3, 4, and 5 are respectively wanting, materialism, and ego, which says something very similar. Seeing Hans behave like that indicates a huge break in the history of the game. And in these turbulent times of huge change, I could further speculate that this is not random. It feels a bit like the system is driven against a wall, and that even extends to chess now. With Hans' urge for winning and probably revenge, I wonder if he could not be an easy target for the transhumanistic movement, such as proclaimed by the World Economic Forum, which is about merging humans with machines, such as using chip implants. I don't know what the current technology is. Furthermore, Niemann sounds like Niemand, which is nobody in German. His first name Hans reminds me of the German fairy tale recorded by the Brother Grimms called Hans im Glück, which means something like Lucky Hans. It's about someone who trades in all his treasures and returns home happily relieved from all the weight. So there's a lot of symbolism. Of course, Hans could really be just the underdog, the comeback kid, and Magnus is just so used to winning, so he's a really bad loser who cannot deal with the strain of excellent new young players coming in and challenging him. He hinted towards this pressure in some interviews. In Chess24, which banned Hans from online chess, just bought Magnus' company Play Magnus for 80 million or so, which might speak for the chess establishment going after the underdog. However, my intuition favors the former scenario, that something is not right with Hans' recent wins. There's something unhinged or dark about him, like the Joker in Batman, trying to burn down the system. The future will hopefully show soon. Many thanks for listening, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Talk to you next time, and bye.